Hello? Yes. I'm a pro. Hello and welcome to day 3 of the 47th Annual Toronto International Film Festival. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support. It means the world to us. Seeing this full cinema makes everything worth it. So thank you to our audience. My name is Dorota Lech, and I'm the lead curator of Tiff's Discovery Program, as well as Tiff's programmer for Central and Eastern European cinema. Tonight, it's my great honor to be introducing Thunder by Carmen Jaquier, screening in our Platform program. Platform is Tiff's competitive program that champions bold directorial visions. From first-time feature directors to veterans, this year's Platform lineup, comprising of 10 films, offers a diverse range of talent and distinctive directorial voices that are emerging from around the globe. You are actually the very first audience in the world to see the film Thunder. That's right. This is the world premiere. But before we begin, we would like to thank our lead and major sponsors, Bell, RBC, Bulgaria, and Visa, for their continued support. Further thanks go to our major supporters, the Government of Canada, the Government of Ontario, Telefilm Canada, and the City of Toronto. Thunder is eligible for the Platform Prize for Best Film and the Platform program, as well as the People's Choice Award, which you could vote for by going on tiff.net/vote and using your ticket number. Carmen Jaquier was born in Geneva and studied at the École Cantonale d'Art de Lausanne. She has directed the short films The Girl's Grave in 2011, The Waves in 2012, and The Mermaid Parade in 2013. Thunder is her first feature film. We would like to thank WTF Films for providing us with Thunder, and thank you to Swiss Films for their generous support. Now, without further ado, let's please welcome to the stage Carmen Jaquier. She's back there, I promise. Welcome.
Thank you, Dorota, for to choose the movie. Thank you really much to the Toronto Festival for this huge opportunity. You know, it's a really special day for me and for the team because it's the first time that we will show the movie to an audience. It's so precious. So thank you to be here. And I'm not alone. I'm with the team. They are here. And so if you want to share your experiences after the movie, if you have time, if you have questions, we will be really happy to talk with you. So please stay a bit. And yeah, thank you again for this. It's really important for us. Thank you.
Please join me in welcoming to the stage director Carmen Jaquier, producer Flavia Zanon, lead actor Lilith Grasmug, and composer Nicolas Rabaeus. I remember the moment when I finished this film. I had so many emotions and thoughts circling, so I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to gather your questions, gather your feelings, and I'll start by having some questions of my own. So first, for you, Carmen, how did this film start for you? Tell us the story from script.
Wow, it's a long story. So, but first, I just have to say that my English is not so good. So if you don't understand me, just please ask for more details. So it started like 9 or 8 years ago. And I mean, it's a mix. It's really a mix in between a lot of different impulse that I had in life. I was really obsessed about teenagehood. I think it's a really important moment for everybody, and that sometimes we don't care enough about this time where, like, kids, adults, in between, they telling us a lot of things that we cannot hear because we are adults and we know everything. And I have a feeling, I want to have like a gang of teenagers, and that will like feel like true things, and also experiment things and like with love and beauty, and that the adults couldn't see it. and so they need to learn something from them. So that was one part, and then I had the chance to read the notebooks from my grandmother, and it was something really special for me. And she was really devoted to God, and she was really writing every day to Him. And I just realized, like, I had a lot of questions when I read these little books, and I realized that she was full of sensuality. I mean, it was like if she had no one in life to talk with, because at this time, I mean, maybe she was not talking really with her husband, and it was not like a relation where you can really connect, or like deeply. So she connect with God, and she was really, something. I realized, okay, there is a connection between her desire and God, and so I start to search, and also to do research about this period in time, and I found so many interesting characters and stories, and I met historians and people who really told me, like, these stories, they are never tell, because these people, they don't interest the historians, so they are not on books. So then I had to find a way to do my research and to meet real people, and that these people will talk about their parents or grandparents, but it's just like an oral history. So I realized I need to find a story also full of like to follow the feelings and the it's
beautiful answer.
It's a part. I don't know. There is a lot of other impulse, but yeah.
Flavia, I'd love for you to tell us, when did you come onto the project, and what is it like getting an independent production like this off the ground?
Got onto the project. I met Carmen when she was studying. She did her master's in screenwriting, and I met her when they pitched all their scripts. It wasn't Thunder, it was another script, and I was at the pitch, met her, knew of her, because in the Geneva region, everybody kind of knew about Carmen. I knew you before I met you. I was instantly drawn to what you carry, your energy, and we met for coffee, and I remember you said, I have an idea, and I said, yes, of course, and that was, 7, almost 8 years ago, and so we've been developing the film together, the script, and then, the boring financing part, etc., and setting a team together, and it was really a project I feel made out of sweat, but tears and an enormous amount of love, and I hope it translates somewhere, because I feel that when there's love making something, you can feel it. So I hope you felt the love.
And Lilith, for you, when did you receive the script, and what were your initial reactions?
I remember studying in Nantes, which is a town in France, and my agent called me and said, I have something for you, so read the script. And there was also the Carmen's short films, so I watched them, and I immediately fell in love with her work. So we met once in February, and then never again because it was COVID. So we had a lot of Skype conversations, and I had like one audition, and then we talked a lot about everything, but not only the script, but about love and our relationships, and and then I got into the project.
No, well, you're beautiful in the film, and thank you for your answer. Nicolas, I would love to know, I mean, the sound of this film, the sound of every film is of supreme importance, but I, was really had goosebumps listening to your score. So can you please tell us about your work when you came onto the film and what the process was like for you working with Carmen?
Goosebumps is a very good sign. We're looking for this all the time. Thank you. It was a long process. Initially, and it wasn't clear if I was going to write actual music for the movie, but it was supposed to be for one particular scene, the scene where there's the bonfire. And we started here. Huh? Carmen, stop me if sometimes my memory is wrong, but I think this is how we started. And we talked about, we had very long discussions about what an actual soundscape of this period would sound like. So we did some research, and actually there wasn't much music in those villages back then, and most of the sound was with bells. Cowbells actually, and people singing. So this was kind of our starting point, and then we needed some music to shoot the scene. So this was the first music I wrote, which was I think it's the exact music you hear there. I don't think we changed it. So this whole scene was the first thing I wrote. And then we met in the editing process, maybe 6 months later or something like that, or a few months later. And we met at my studio in Geneva, and we started discussing about what different approaches the movie needed, musically speaking. And then lots of work, lots of corrections, and it was a very fascinating process. Carmen is very precise in what she wants, in what she doesn't want. So it's always very there's always a clear will in her decision, which makes it very coherent, I would say.
I would love to take some questions from the audience. I see many hands, and I will start with you.
Can you just talk a little bit about the ending? I was a little confused exactly what happened.
The question, it's a very cheeky one, is if you can elaborate on the ending.
I would say that we are the best people to talk about the process. You are the best to interpret. And sorry, you disagree?
What's your interpretation of that?
Too cheeky, too cheeky.
No, I mean, I think maybe the ending is not the ending. Maybe the ending comes a bit before, and this is maybe the beginning of something else.
Great answer. Yes. Yes. The question is specifically about the bonfire scene, and if this comes, if the motifs that you use come from a specific cultural practice or something you came up with.
It's a mix. It's a mix. Like in Switzerland, you have, we shot it in a region called like Le Haut-Valais. So it's a really special place because you don't have a lot of connection with the cities, and so you're really on the mountains. And in this region, they still have like a lot of like party with mask, and it's like if you have one day, if you have the possibility to go there, like it's really amazing. You go like, for example, you go on a village. It's dark. They cut all the light, and then you're with people and you're just waiting. And at one point there is like few creatures coming, like with masks and costumes, all doing with trees, and they come around you, and then they sing, and you are just in the black, and you hear them, and then they go and they sing like. On the village, they knock at every doors and they drink alcohol, and at the end of the day, it's like really something, really. I mean, it's beautiful, and it's. I mean, I know it's every country has his own like traditional folklore. But so yes, there is some inspiration from true fact, but I mean for the rest we recreate new mask with other like for example the mask from the three boys. It was really we wanted to create like their face like between them when they were kids and when they will be super old. So we work on their real face and we try to create like a connection in between them when children and adults. So it's a mix.
Yes. To paraphrase, I think it's an interesting question about blame, and you have the part towards the end about the priest and the boys perhaps being forgiven, Elisabeth not being forgiven, and if you could just talk about that.
I hope I understood the question, but I think, I mean, how to answer it? Like a woman, I experimented all the time this. So it's really something, I don't know, I can just talk about myself, but I grew up with brothers. I was at school with a lot of boys. I was always around with hanging out with a lot of boys, and it was kind of always a bit sad, but too much like this. And so I think unfortunately, it's not so different today. Maybe the word God and the religion maybe change, and other words or other religion, other came, but this feeling, it's something really present still.
I'd love to take another question. We had a lot of hands up. Yes. Two questions. Can you comment about the close-ups and how you worked with the cinematographer to make these choices? And the second question is about what your audition was like.
I mean, cinema is amazing. You can be so close. You're never like this in life. Never. So it's so... Yeah. I think it came from photography inspiration more, an artist. I really remember one picture from Anna Mandiata, who's an artist who really does like a shot of an A. And I had this picture for years with me, and I knew that it was something I want to experiment. Also, I thought now about Dali, and there is a lot of artists who really worked with this place, particularly where you have the feeling you go through the body, you see the soul, or there is something connection. So yeah, it came from different part, but it's so. I love to tell story also with the close-up, to think about the scene and to go really into the material and go back. So and then we work with the DOP Marine Atlan, like together on this. Yeah.
And for Lilith, your audition question, what was it like?
It really was a special audition because generally it lasts for. Is that proper? Okay. It lasts for like, I don't know, 15 minutes, and this time we talked like an hour or so, and yeah, I don't really remember all but what happened that I remember having like a text. You sent me a text about God, and I had to walk in the room as if I was in a forest and say this text. That was the audition.
I'm curious about the other actors. Is everyone a professional, or do you also have a mix?
No, it's a mix. Yeah, the three friends of Elisabeth, they are. I mean, two are really non-actors, and one played when he was a kid, in some movies, but yeah. Otherwise, the adults they are actors. The parents, yeah. But it's a mixed. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. The question is if you could say more about your great-grandmother's diaries and what you learned, and specifically about her devotion.
You know, there is just one sentence in the movie from her, because I mean she was not there anymore. I couldn't ask her, like, it will be interesting to work with her text, but she was not there, so I couldn't ask. So I just use one sentence, like when Elisabeth, she's nude with the three friends, and she talked to Innocente, and Innocente kind of took the place of God. And it's the only part of this notebook that I really work with, and I think it's I cannot talk for her, but I mean, you know, it's another time also, and I think she was really alone, so she had to connect with something. So she connect with God, and I mean, we are sensual person, we are physical person. We can decide to not be connected with this, but she was, and I think she had no relation really to explore, and so she just create a relation with this presence.
Speaking of connecting, I mean, you are all such different, interesting craftspeople, artists, and I would love for you to each comment on what inspires you and what you connect with to make art. We can go in any order. What inspires you? You're the artist. You're all
It's once again, it's a huge question. I mean, there is so many things. There is life, there is sadness, there is hungriness, there is music, there is people, there is ghosts, there is like it's a mix of a lot of. I mean, to do connections, like to create connections in between, like every form of life and non-life.
Well, again, a producer, not really an artist, but but yes, the idea of connection, I would put it on my side. The connection you make with the people who surround the film, the people who will put their energy into a film, into all films. I think that is really beautiful, and then the connection you have when you show the film, just another way of looking at connections, but I think that's what drives me to putting people together and then sharing.
Since most has been said already, which I vastly share, I will say more how what inspires me to write music for pictures, and it's movement, mostly. Movement and lines drawn by movement, opposed to emotions. It's not emotions, it's movements and lines.
I do remember the question. I think, yeah, it's very different for each project, but I think for this one, I really was connected to Carmen. It was a bit strange, but we were at some point very similar, and I understood her language, and I really felt like, I understood her story and her short films also. It was as if, when I saw her short films, for instance, it was as if I could have written what the character said. So, I guess that other people inspire me. Yes.
I love this question, and I love that you all gave such individual answers. And I just have to say, we do this a lot. We meet many film teams, and observing you a little bit when you came in, you seem to really care about each other, and I think that speaks also to what we see on screen. It really feels like a beautiful labor of love, as you said. I wish we could keep talking to you. We're getting the signal that we're done. But please, it's screening again. Tell your friends, tell your family. Thank you so much.